Welcome back, guys, to episode 11. I'm pretty sure I got it right at least two times now.
Yeah, I think that's three times in a row, actually.
Oh man, do I get an ice cream cone if I get it four times? Right?
Yeah, you get
Oh
a big one.
yeah.
Chocolate ice
Okay.
cream.
Yep. So this episode we're gonna talk about some of the mistakes we've made in the past, in terms of like academic mistakes or even just general mistakes in the previous years that are the time we've spent in college, and what we have done to sort of like remedy these mistakes, and either if we've actually done these like action plans or remedies, what was the outcome, was it successful or not, or if we haven't done like actually acted upon our like mistakes or like faults, what do we expect and what our plans are basically.
Yeah. All right. So,
So you start because you're the most talkative one of us both.
yeah, sure. Okay. In terms of mistakes, I'd say I'd probably focus mostly on the beginning of college. So, looking back, almost 2 years now, a little bit over a year, or actually, yeah, a little bit under 2 years. So I'd say that I think at the beginning I was pretty intimidated by a lot of people coming into computer science who had probably had more experience and background than me. So yeah, like in terms of like a regret, I regret even being intimidated. I understand it at that stage. Hindsight is 2020, but I regret it in the sense that I feel like it held me back a little bit in the beginning, and I realized that there was nothing really to be fearful of. The gap is closed pretty quick, as long as you just work hard and keep working at it.
But like,
That's
what
it.
did you change? Was it like a change of perspective, or what was like the catalyst, and how did you like sort of like teach yourself not to be intimidated by people who have more experience than you?
I think most of it came from having a lot of help, like people to help me through when I felt that way. Like starting with you, obviously, like being my partner for a lot of my classes.
Hashtag humble brag.
You were the biggest help, and like my parents in general too. My dad, I mean, obviously he was in tech as well. He did computer science, so he was always there to tell me that like it's not that big of a deal. So you and my dad, I'd say were the main two. But in terms of
um,
like other than like moral, like, or not moral, but like how I felt in terms of like an actual habit, I think I used to read the textbooks a lot for all my classes. And at every quarter, I stopped, like, I read less and less of the textbook. I'm like, bro, this is like a waste of time. Like, I'll just go to the lecture and I'll learn from there. I'll look at the lecture slides. I'm not going to read the textbook though. Because I feel like I spent too much time early on doing that and I gained very little from it versus you can actually get a lot more done if you. I'm not saying don't read the textbook. It depends on the class, of course. But especially in CS, like, textbook isn't the most important thing, I'd say. So I think those are my two things. What about you?
but before we get into that, I just want to like we iron out this point because I feel like this is a really common thing that or common problem like CS students face. If someone doesn't have like a support network, some people are not as fortunate to have like a robust like support or family or friend network. How would you go about, or what advice would you give to these types of people so they can overcome this sort of like this fear or this sort of
The
like
fear, yeah.
or yeah.
Without a support network, getting over anything is very difficult. Let
Mm-hmm.
alone like fear of like an inferiority complex almost.
Mm-hmm.
Without a support, so yeah, that's not easy. But I think it's just you just have to think long term and be like, I'm at a university to learn. I'm not here to tell everyone, hey, I know all this, right? I'm here to learn all this stuff. So if you're coming there with the attitude that I'm going to learn whatever I'm going to do and I'm going to work really hard to learn it, there's nothing to be fearful of. You just got to keep that mindset that all these people might like know all this stuff coming in, right? But if they don't work hard at continuing to learn more, they'll end up lagging behind. Versus you, if you're really putting in that effort and you really want to learn. So keep the focus on learning and less on I mean, you want results to be good, but if you focus on learning, the results will come on its own, and it's not the end of the world if like you don't get an A plus.
Yeah. No, I really, yeah, I agree with definitely what you said. For me, I think it was overconfidence. I think the flip it was like the flip for me. It was like the completely opposite problem. So I was taking this linear algebra class with you, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were like really focused. You kept pace with the work, and you treated it seriously. I was like, oh man, this homework, this stuff is just like is easy. It's like this class is dare I say it, but an easy A. I was like, I mean, this class is a joke basically. But then first midterm came, and I did pretty. I wouldn't say like extremely bad, but like no, I did extremely bad. I think I got a D or something. It's like it was shocking for me, but it was like the more shocking thing was like the material wasn't that difficult. It was just a lack of preparation, I feel. Um, but I sort of like tried better. Like I tried pretty hard on like I think I did well in the first midterm. So yeah, that gave me confidence. I think. And second midterm I did horrible. And in the final, because I was scared now, I prepared. I actually spent time preparing this stuff. I did well. Thankfully on the final. But that wasn't enough because I did the second midterm had like more weight than the first one, and it had a good amount, like it was a good chunk of your grade, and that's sort of like I did relatively well, but I wish I did better basically. So
Yeah, but you see, you didn't burst into flames. You're fine. So
yeah,
it's
but it
okay.
was still like it was in a sense not painful, but it's still like disappointing. So it's like on one hand, don't be too like hard on yourself. Like this is impossible. I'm gonna fail this class, but don't be like, oh man, this class is so easy. I can just like not do anything and then still get an A. Even if there are classes like that, but even in those cases, you should still do more work than necessary. In some cases, yeah, because you really can't like predict how your exams will be, what your like mental state will be on the day of the exam. So it's better to over prepare rather than under prepare.
Yeah, that I agree with. Yeah, it's about keeping that balance, right? You don't want to like over prepare to a level where it's like you've like beaten the material to death like a million times, but you also don't want to take something lightly, no matter what it is, even if it's your GE. You want to take it lightly that like, oh, it's just my GE, who cares, right? Like this easy A. It might not be. It really might not be.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's really no way to tell until like you get the exam and you experience it like then and there.
all
And
right.
I guess another like mistake on my part. I'll think of something. You go if you've already thought of it.
I can think of something that I didn't do at the beginning of college that I'm kind of doing now, which is not good. So I really need to keep that in check. Is procrastinating. I think at the beginning of college, I did not procrastinate at all. I was like fully like, getting things
Mm-hmm.
done like way ahead of time. Now I started procrastinating a little, which is I think it has to do with the fact that like stuff is online and I'm at home, so I'm getting a little lazier. Not like nothing like actually like serious procrastination, but just in general, it's not a habit you want to build up even a little bit. So I just have to
Mm-hmm.
keep that in check. So I think a lot of people face that in the beginning and they fix it later on. Seems like it's going the opposite direction for me, so I got to keep that in check, make sure it doesn't actually happen. Uh,
I think
but yeah,
if I were to like recommend something, it would be like imagine like I think I've talked about this in a previous video. You imagine like for example, you wake 8:15, you're in college, so you're not so like ban YouTube, ban video games, ban social media if need be. For that from like 8:15 to 6, and then after 6 you're typed back, quote unquote, back home, so you can do whatever you want. I feel once you do that, like you really because I'm just sitting there. Sometimes I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, what do I do? I have all this free time now, 8:15 to 6. I can't watch videos or anything. So I just end up doing work because there's nothing else to do.
yeah, no, I think that's something I learned from you really well. I tried to make it kind of like high school. High school has like you're at school from
Mm-hmm.
8 to 3, right? Kind of like that. Like I got up in the morning and I just worked till a certain time, and then after that time is done, then
Mm-hmm.
like around dinner time, then from then on I tried to stay away from work unless it was necessary. And I think that it makes a healthy like work-life balance, which is important like in anything, right?
Yeah.
You can't be a workaholic.
Yeah. For me, I think another mistake was I think not really exploring what the university had to offer in terms of like different clubs. I think this is a pretty secondary thing. I think your main focus, in my opinion, should be to like go to college to learn for academics and stuff. But I really remember during my first quarters, because I didn't live in the dorms. I was a commuting student. I still am. It was really like I thought I could just soldier it out. I don't need friends. I could just focus on my work, and then get good grades, get this college thing over with. I don't need support. I can just do it myself. That was a huge mistake. My mental like state was like deteriorating pretty rapidly. You need to talk to people other than your parents and your direct family. It's like I feel it's very important to have like a person, even one person is good enough that you can just talk to about more of like about your life. And it doesn't have to be like really personal or anything, but just someone that you can vent about your problems with and stuff like that. But because it's like if you just go to college like I did, I think this is more for like commuting students. You go to college and you just work, and you go back home. You repeat this day after day after day. I mean, now that I say it, it's like obvious that you'll just like start losing your mind. We as human beings are social beings, so we need to socialize. We need to talk to people. So for commuting people, I think no one's gonna hand it to you. I'm sad. I wish something was like that. Like you come to like special programs for commuting students to like connect with other people, but the responsibility to make connections and friends is really on you. You really have to make a special effort. I know it's a disadvantage. It's something that you have to contend with. You have to go to clubs, ask actively when someone sits next to you, ask how their day is going, actually talk to people, be open, and if need be, change your personality to, actually be more friendly. I know I wish it was, I could tell you, don't just be you and just keep working and you don't really need any support or anything, but that's sadly not, what it
Yeah,
is. You have to make your own, like, you have to really work in that sense.
the college experience is a lot more than just studying. I feel like that word has been used so much that its meaning is kind of saturated, like college experience. But like what I mean is like it's not just like you just go there and like you just study. It is important to make friends, and enjoy your time there as well within limits. But enjoy your time and like you said, talking to people and should meet new people and everything.
It's easier for dorm students and stuff.
Yeah, that is true.
But for commuting students, like I can tell, like it was pretty different. It was because like where do you go? Like
I would imagine that like the biggest opportunity for people commuting is clubs, and because like you don't have that like like in the dorms when you're like with a bunch of other people, you're kind of forced to interact. So I feel like I wasn't a commuting student, so I'm just speculating that it was based off of mostly clubs, meeting people who have similar interests and just talking. Because like like you're in a lecture with 500 people, you're not just gonna you're not gonna know even a hundredth of the class. So
yeah, and it's like it's even more isolating because in high school, like I went to a pretty like small high school, so like I knew everyone in my class, and if you're going from this to like 500-person lecture halls, like usually how it is in your freshman year, it sort of like gets smaller and smaller as you go.
I think you had that jump as well, because I came from a relatively big high school, so I didn't know everybody. It was just impossible. So I kind of I guess understood like that. Like it wasn't new to me, like not knowing a bunch of people. But I think for you, I'm guessing that was a pretty big change, going from knowing everybody to sort of being swamped, right?
Yeah, and like most of these people, like I couldn't connect with because like at the end of the day, it's like you want to be friends with people that are similar to you, or like the good thing about going to a big college is like there's bound to be people who are similar to you.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's also a double-edged sword because they can be completely saturated with people that you just don't want to be around. So, but again, like I would like keep this like being socially active as a priority too. I wouldn't
Yeah.
depending on like so academics and sort of like social interaction. These are very like if you come to college, both these are pretty necessary. I think academic work is very necessary, but social should be like a break for you or some sort of like stress relief.
I
That's
think
very
I think
necessary.
I think one final thing I should say is that in terms of the social aspect is you shouldn't. I think people, especially in the beginning, they get bogged down in like, oh, like if I go up and like say something to someone, like just randomly say hi or something, everyone's gonna be like, oh, that's so weird, like I don't even know who you are, right? But really early on, everybody's in the same stage, everybody's trying to make friends. So really, like you should take like the first step and like be like, oh hey, like what's up, like what's your major, like something like that, right? Just go, just talk to people. There's nothing to be shy about. That nobody's gonna be like oh wow, like why are you randomly coming up to me, I don't even know who you are. Everybody's trying to make friends. So
Yeah.
I think that's one final. I think we can leave it on that, unless you have anything else to say.
I think we've gone through like a couple of major ones.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you for listening in. And guess we'll see you episode 12.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.